It's been 9.5 years since New Horizons launched from Earth to Pluto, which is roughly 4 billion miles from Earth. The launch itself set a record for the fastest human-made object leaving the Earth, and while traveling through space at more than 31,000 miles an hour, making it the fastest moving spacecraft to date. New Horizons captured images and data from nearly 8,000 miles above the surface of Pluto, the farthest planetary mass in our solar system. Joining me with further details are my guests, NASA Solar System Ambassador and astronomer Jerry Hilburn, and Lisa Will, Professor of Astronomy and Physics at San Diego City College and resident astronomer at the Reuben H. Fleet Science Center. And Lisa, New Horizons has already sent back some stunning images of Pluto. We're looking at pictures that were taken before today's flyby. What do we already know about Pluto, and how is it different from other planets?
Going into this, we already knew that Pluto was different from the planets in the solar system. And then, Earth is like a big ball of rock and Jupiter's a big ball of gas. But we know that Pluto is sort of an ice and rock mixture. It's very different. But it's so far away and it's so small. In fact, it's smaller than our own moon that we haven't been able to see any detail before. Even with the Hubble Space Telescope, Pluto's only a few pixels across. So what we're seeing now is just amazing. We're seeing craters and icy regions. And
that heart shape.
That heart shape, yeah. That was surprising to see, but appears to be sort of a smooth region of perhaps carbon monoxide ice. We'll find out more as time goes on, and it's just amazing because we're seeing geology on Pluto for the first time.
And we can see that because of the instruments on board. So, Jerry, what is on board, and what kind of data do you hope to collect?
Well, there's a telescope on board that's a long-range instrument, has a camera attached to it that takes black and white pictures. There's another instrument that takes images in infrared and black and white called the Ralph. And then there's an ultraviolet spectrometer called Alice that's on board. Also, there's a student-built device, a student dust collector from Colorado University, and a plasma detector.
And we'll get that information back
over time.
Over time.
Right.
And why just fly by Pluto? I mean, this is just a quick little flyby. Why not stay in orbit or even land?
Well, the cost of the project was minimal. It was in the Discovery series of NASA's missions, and the idea was that we wanted to get something out there. We had to do it at the lowest cost. We had to get the greatest bang for the buck. You have a problem with energy budgets, and so you can't build a big enough rocket or put enough fuel on board to slow it down and go into orbit. So it just shoots on by and takes its data and then moves on out into the Kuiper Belt.
So how much time ultimately will be spent capturing these photos and data, and how long is it going to take before we can actually see the new pictures of this flyby?
Well, it started 7 days ago actually collecting its science information on all of its instruments, and then during the flyby, which is about 4 hours long, 2 hours on either side of it, it got really great shots and great images. This evening we're going to get a signal in San Diego time about 6 o'clock telling us that it's past the Pluto system, and then sometime later this evening 4 pictures will be downloaded that will probably be available either around 11 o'clock or tomorrow morning.
So 11 o'clock tonight, and they'll be posted maybe right away. We can, for those of us who are just can't wait to see it.
We certainly hope so. This morning, Alan Stern jumped the gun and threw a photo out there early, around 4 in the morning, and that was just wonderful.
All right, I have to ask Lisa this. Back when New Horizons launched, Pluto was still considered a planet officially. Now there's a big scientific debate over whether it's a dwarf planet or a planet. What's behind this change in status?
Part of the problem is that Pluto is compositionally different. It is a lot more like the other objects out in the Kuiper Belt than it is to what we call the terrestrial planets like Earth or the Jovian planets like Jupiter. So if you want to continue to call it a planet, it would have to be a third classification of planet. And then, in fact, its largest moon, Charon, is about half its size. You'd have to call it a double planet. And for me, it's like, I don't care what it's called. It's still interesting. It's still this amazing space out there.
It is so interesting, but I do have to ask this, Jerry. So New Horizons is, passing through, flying over Pluto, and then what's next?
Well, it'll continue on out into the Kuiper Belt, and 5 to 6 years out, we've got 2 objects that it may have the opportunity to approach and take pictures and send data back to. Spacecraft actually can last another 20 to 25 years.
And then what happens? Will we still be able to track that data, or is it just too far away?
It would still be able to send information back through the end of its useful life, but its energy budget will decrease over time.
All right, Jerry Hilburn, Lisa Will, so excited to see these pictures. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.